Hi everyone, it's Rebecca here from Eat Happy, and today I'm happy to say I'm talking to Lisa Fearn. So Lisa is the owner of the Pumpkin Patch Cookery School. She's also a cook on S4C's Pananda, and she's the author of the wonderful book Glass Taste. So if you can take us back a little bit, why did you start a cookery school?
Well, my youngest daughter, Anya, was probably about 4 years old at the time, and she just started day nursery, so I had a little bit of time on my hands. Not a lot, because I have 5 kids, so she was the youngest of the 5, but I had a few hours every day when I didn't have children around me, so I had time to think, and the 3 things I guess I had the most knowledge in and the most confidence in dealing with were children, cookery and gardening, and I brought those 3 together to create a little cookery school for children originally.
And now I take it you not only teach children but adults as well how to cook.
Yes, it's quite interesting actually how business evolves. My little children at the time, age 7 or 8, the class of 7 or 8, they got older, so I started a teens group. They then went off to university, so the student SOS was born. Their parents wanted to come to classes, so the adult classes started, and then they wanted to bring their younger ones along, so I had little pumpkins for the 0 to 8. So now I do across the whole spectrum.
Right. And what is it that you really want the participants in the cooking school to take away at the end of the day?
Obviously I want them to learn to cook. Some of the meals are basic, some are simple, then some of the nicest meals are the simplest meals, but also an understanding about where food comes from, how to grow it, and the effect it has on our bodies.
So you really want, the children and the adults really to have an enjoyment
Yeah,
of the food.
Exactly, to enjoy food and not to have to worry about it. I talk about, I don't mention calorie content, I just talk about the energy in food. So for instance, if we're making a tray of brownies and I cut it up and I show them a portion, even the adults actually are fascinated to learn it's about 175 calories and it's only the size of a little, teeny weeny little thing. So you can't afford to eat 7 or 8 pieces, but you can afford 1. So everything in moderation and not to be too, paranoid about all foods, a little bit of everything, but eat the good and the bad, because obviously it's not always the quantity of food, it's the quality of the food that counts. Absolutely,
I would agree with you there. So it's kind of teaching that natural balance, which so many of us can lose really, like myself, when I was in university, didn't have the best relationship to food, but over time, I realised that it is okay actually to have a little bit of what you fancy.
Yeah.
And that balance comes with a bit of awareness at the start, but in time it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're just in the habit of having that balance anyway, would you say?
Yes, I'd had quite a sporty background, I guess, so I was very aware of the good, the bad and the ugly in terms of foods from very young. I'm not saying everybody has that sort of introduction to food and nutrition, and it wasn't a big thing in my life at the time, but I just knew if I ate the right foods I'd get a better performance. But the same goes for normal life. It doesn't matter whether you're on a sports track, whether you're long jumping, high jumping, or whether you're sitting at the desk every day, you need to feel good, you need energy, you need to be able to get up fresh in the morning, and so the quality of the food you consume obviously has an effect on the way you feel and the way you look.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you said there was right on about the quality of the food. I think that's key, because at the end of the day, I'm sure you'll agree, it's how you feel after eating something that matters. You might feel a bit sluggish after eating something, and then you might think twice if you want to eat that again. And food that's kind of labelled as low calorie and maybe like diet foods or weight loss friendly foods, I find, I don't know what you think, but I don't think they're always the best quality. What do you think?
No, they're not, and obviously they've been more modified than the natural product. And that's where I think growing your own comes into it as well. I like to take them from the seed right through to the fork. Children plant their own seeds, they see them growing, harvesting, then cooking with them, and then hopefully ultimately trying to eat them, even if it is spinach or kale. But yes, it's you need good quality produce. Better to eat a small amount of something that's good for you rather than a large quantity of something that's not. If you live on a crisp and whatever diet, sweetie diet, you're not going to feel the best. Yeah. So a little bit of the nice things and a lot of what does you good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when the quality is high, you actually enjoy it more, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you say if somebody wants to cook, they've never cooked before, they're a bit nervous about starting, what's a good first step to get them into cooking?
Well, there are plenty of books. You can see my collection behind there. I have a bit of a magnetism for books. TV programmes, they're on all of the time, so it's a job to miss them. Websites, plenty of them, but also just remember it's not the complicated dishes that taste the best. I cooked just a fried sea bass yesterday with some coconut rice, which is literally just coconut cream and rice, fantastic flavour, sea bass, and just a very simple broth of ginger, garlic, soy, fish sauce, and I think it was bok choy we put in the end. It was just really simple, delicious, warming, hearty, everything you want in a meal. Made you feel good afterwards as well, because you know you've just eaten a really good for you meal.
So it doesn't have to be complicated?
No, it doesn't. And obviously we all get things wrong. You know, everybody makes a good meal and a bad meal. So keep trying, keep practicing. And it's all about confidence in the kitchen, I think. You know, you just pretend you know what you're doing and you do it. To some extent. And if you don't, come to the pumpkin patch.
Exactly. Speaking of which, so where can people find you if they want to find out more?
The website is www.thepumpkinpatch.org.uk, and we have lessons for all abilities. But as much as anything, it's about having fun with like-minded people, with food and cooking, and you know, it's about enjoying yourself.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much. I really appreciate that. So I found that was wonderful about the balance with food and enjoying good quality food. I've put some links below if you want to find out a bit more about Lisa and the Pumpkin Patch Cookery School, and I shall speak to you again. Take care. Bye.
Bye.